Science. I love science. No. I don't just love science. Fuck you. I fucking love science. My name is PewDiePie. Rick and Morty is my favorite anime. I freaking love science. Christian channel. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is my god. If you've seen the legendary meme, you've seen this meme? Of course you have. It's a classic. One of my personal, actually, it's my favorite meme of all time. I have it printed here on my wall. Then you might know of the legend, the one and only Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Is math related to science?
Because I love science and I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. In case that wasn't clear before.
I love science. Seriously, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is the shit.
I love science. Seriously. Neil deGrasse Tyson is my shit. He's my jam. I'm like, Neil, feed it to me. Feed me the science fact, man. You need me to explain Rick and Morty to you, Neil? Science facts. Pluto's not a real planet. Science facts, left and right. You've probably seen Neil already from my video where I did of Katy Perry.
Most people who could be born will never be born, will never even exist. So the fact
like
that
sperm.
Neil is sort of an evangelist for science. You know, it's his job. It's his career. He built a career. He's an astrophysicist. But his main career seems to be these days to promote science to people. Get people involved with science. Why do I mix that word up? So he goes on these celebrity tours, he goes on a lot of public appearances, and you know, it's a noble cause. It's a good thing, you know, get people involved with science. I have no problem with that. But you get funny moments of people wanting to understand science, but they're just idiots.
So the fact
like
that
sperm.
Sure, yeah. Well,
I mean, it's science.
The rest don't.
Where do they go?
They're dead.
There's also the famous one where he talks about time with Pharrell Williams. And time is such an interesting concept to me. Like, I really... that is one of those things that is almost scary just to think of the concept of time. And just because it's something infinite. You would think that's what they talk about in this interview with Tyson and Pharrell Williams, because he has this meme where he goes like, "Bah!" And maybe you've seen it.
Mm-hmm. So the sun would rise and set, we call that a day. Mm-hmm. The moon would go around once, we call that a month. It became a month. Mm-hmm. Earth would go around the sun, that became a year, and these became the natural timekeeping ways. When you wanted to be more precise than just sun up and sun down, you had to invent some machine that could keep more accurate time, and you divide the day into parts that are convenient to you.
Okay. Look at Pharrell. He's so ready to have his mind blown. He's like, oh my god, it's coming. It's coming. The science fact is coming. Come on, Neil, feed it to me. Feed me the science fact.
So we now keep better time than that. We keep atomic time.
Mm-hmm. Look at Pharrell's fucking face when he says that. We keep atomic time.
So we now keep better time than that. We keep atomic time. Mm-hmm. So now it's an atomic clock. And you want to have time in space?
Oh, the atomic clock is really based on like atoms.
Oh yeah. So now you bring the clock into space, and you no longer have to. Yeah, exactly. It's actually based on electrons moving within the atoms, just to be precise. I don't know what frequency that is.
I love how annoyed Neil gets from this. He's just like, shut the hell up, dude.
I don't know what frequency that is.
He didn't even say anything interesting. He just explained atomic clocks is a thing. He didn't explain how it works. He's just like, we use them to tell time. It's more accurate than the sun and the stars.
That's mind-blown remix.
Is that what that is?
Look, he even points it out himself.
So you bring an atomic clock with you, and you keep good time, and you're good to go.
You guys
don't
keep
even have
talking.
to. You don't even have to. He's got to digest this fact.
Wow. You just blew my mind.
What? That atomic time is kept by atomic clocks?
He even said it himself. Wow, you just blew my mind. You just blew my mind. Like, what? Why? That atomic time is kept by atomic clocks? That's enough for you to be fucking mind blown?
On a grid, you might think of it as what street in New York, what street, what avenue, and what floor in a building that you might meet someone. These are 3 coordinates that you would not give a time without a place, nor would you give a place without a time. To meet someone require 4 numbers, basically 4 coordinates, 3 space coordinates, and 1 time coordinate.
Time is the 4th dimension. Isn't that a lot more interesting than just saying this machine with has its atoms in its name in it uses atoms to explain time? Wow. So, and this all this reaction that Farrell has sort of stems from this new cult, or should I say, or new movement that embraces science as it's kind of like weed science. Like, whoa, my mind is totally blown right now by these science facts, man. I don't know what to do about it. There's these websites like, I fucking love science. Oh, I love science so much. No, you don't. You like to look at pretty pictures or political pictures of Neil deGrasse Tyson with quotes on it. 31,000 people liked this picture, this little cartoon image of an asteroid. 400 people liked this actual science article. You know that cringe meme with Neil where he's just like, oh, the cringe is too strong? It's for you, okay? You just don't understand it. Neil is cringing at you, okay? I think this comic strip really explains the whole I fucking love science thing perfectly. Did you know that human hair and nails are made from the same kind of stuff? Yeah, I love science. I'm not really sure you understand love or science. When you love something, you don't just love the exciting and fun parts, you love the boring parts just as much as people who truly love science spend their lives studying the tedious little bits as well as the big flashy facts. You don't love science, you're looking at the butt when it walks by. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Neil. I think he's a very interesting person. He looks like a cute little cuddly teddy bear. And I think he generally does a really great job at explaining complicated things to an easy, digestible way. I think that takes a great skill, and I have a lot of respect for that. But there are times that Neil gets it wrong. At least in my opinion. Neil is very avid on Twitter. He posted in 2010, another thought to disturb restful slumber, especially if you are vain. In a mirror, you can kiss yourself only on the lips.
The clock into space, and you no longer have to. Yeah, exactly.
4 months later, narcissists only. Laws of reflection require that if you kiss yourself in a mirror, it will always be on the lips. I feel like I heard that before sometime. 3 years later, just FYI, in a mirror, you can only kiss yourself on the lips. Another thought to disturb restful slumber. Especially if you are in vain. In a mirror, you can kiss yourself only on the lips. In 1927, Lindbergh flew from New York to Paris. 45 years later, in 1972, we last walked on the moon. 45 years later, in 2017, but as someone was quick to point out, we have people living in space stations. There's always someone in space. Constantly. I hate this sort of approach that, oh, things are better back before. Things were better before, man. 45 years ago, things were way better, man. What about the internet, Neil? You know, the thing that you tweet from. Do you remember before the internet? I do. It was awful. I understand what he meant was the development of NASA and space. But come on, man. We are living better off than ever. Don't be so down, Neil. You need a hug? I'd hug you. You look very huggable. Call me. Let's see what Neil else tweets. If Batman wants so badly to be a bat, he might be intriguing. If, like Marvel's Daredevil, he were also blind, like a bat. Bats are, in fact, not blind, Neil. I thought you loved science, Neil. Is that Is that a science-blown fact for you there?
And it's clock into space, and you no longer have to. Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were better than this. And you know what? So what? Neil makes a few mistakes. That's fine. Everyone does. I mean, I never do. I never say anything wrong. Okay, ever. It's never happened. I think that what annoys me so much is that the internet has collectively decided to suck Neil's dick so hard that he's just become this evangelist of science. It's almost like science is a new religion, and Neil is the Pope. He has a closer connection to science than most people. And when he speaks science, he speaks it in a way that you don't understand. You simple average Joes, you don't understand science like I do. How would a tooth fairy travel the world that quickly? And how would she possibly know who lost a tooth? It's not just wrong, but ignorant. Thank you, Neil. God darn it. Finally, someone scientifically intelligent that can disprove this incorrect theory of the tooth fairy. But stay the hell away from Santa, Neil, okay? Because we know that's scientifically proven. The tooth fairy, that's just wrong. That's just ignorant. Ugh, I hate ignorance. I'm Neil. Ugh. Here's the thing. Like I said, I really like Neil. I think he's really entertaining. And I think he's an interesting guy to listen to. I think his mission to speak for science is noble. I just don't like this.
I love science. Seriously, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is the shit.
And I think that's a consequence of the kind of science that he's promoting along with other websites. Personally, I hated math and I hated physics through the beginning of high school, but then I learned to love it not because of stupid memes about space and things to blow your mind, but because I found that it's really satisfying to do problem solving like math, and it's really fun and satisfying to have a deeper understanding how things work in the universe, and not just superficial atoms. Atom clocks are based off atoms. Whoa! And I just don't understand, why can't you teach that instead? I really wish I learned how fun math and physics and science can actually be when I was younger, rather than having to discover it by chance later. And it's not gonna happen through these stupid Facebook pages. Also, Neil, feel free to hit me up in the DMs anytime. I'll go gay for you, and Martha gave me a free pass.